What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, thanks for joining me. My name's Michael. I'm the Moto Barista. Here we're talking all things motorcycles and delicious coffee. What I want to talk about today, though, is the Harley 2020 lineup that is soon to be announced, and what I think young people want from Harley Davidson going forward. So I'm out here in WA near the town of Dwellingup, kind of just out riding amongst the woods. The only problem I have today is that I didn't wear enough layers. It's a bit colder than I planned, and I'm trying to keep moving, but that's okay. It's all part and parcel of the experience. And that kind of leads me on to the first point that I want to discuss when it comes to Harley's plans for 2020 and for the future. When trying to sell to young people, I think Harley has lost some of their soul. I think they've lost what it means to own a Harley Davidson and the experiences and the adventures that come with that. Young people really love to spend their money on experiences and on travel and doing new things and going to new places. And I truly think that Harley Davidson used to really represent that freedom and that freedom of movement, but more and more that seems to have lost. Now, this is not necessarily in the bikes themselves. We might talk about some bike specifics later, but more so in the marketing and the perception of Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson is always associated with older generation riders. And to help combat that, Harley has tried to introduce younger people into their marketing as a way to connect. But they don't seem to be doing it in a believable way. Most of their marketing and ads seem to showcase, very picturesque young people riding these bikes, maybe around town, maybe down to the beach. And that's all well and good, but it doesn't tell the full experience of what it's like to ride a motorcycle and to ride a Harley Davidson. I think one of the best things about these bikes and this culture is going for long distance rides, venturing out to parts of the country that you wouldn't usually go, and enjoying not just the destination but the whole journey of getting there. And I think that this is something that young people really connect to. YouTubers in particular are tapping into this market by showcasing their travels on a motorcycle. Adam Sandoval is a prime example, and his massive following in the motorcycle and Harley Davidson community just shows that people are longing to watch and learn from people as they travel around on motorcycles and visit all kinds of amazing places around the country and around the world. For my own experiences, the photos that I post, the videos I post, the stories that I tell, the ones that are of me traveling and going camping on my motorcycle and spending time away from a city and getting out and just adventuring on the motorcycle, those are the ones that seem to really resonate with my friends. And that's the story I think Harley Davidson needs to get back to telling. Alright, so I'm going to jump back on the bike, keep riding, and we'll go through some more things that I like to see from Harley Davidson in 2020 and going forward. Alright. So we've spoken about capturing that Harley essence and that Harley soul again for the younger generations, capturing what it means to be free and to ride a Harley, travel and explore and adventure. I really hope Harley get back into those roots. But let's talk about bikes themselves for a moment. A lot of young people aren't buying bikes because they only see them as a luxury item, meaning they only see them as something you buy once you have a car and you have some spare money to spend. I think we need to break this mold. Now, I understand that a car is really handy and really helpful, but I don't think it's necessary, and it's not necessary for everyone. I only have a motorcycle. I ride to and from work every single day. I do all of my groceries and shopping on my motorcycle. I travel on my motorcycle. I live on my motorcycle. Obviously, there are some times where riding a bike isn't possible, inclement weather being the main reason. We're a bit fortunate here in Australia, like our weather's pretty good all year round. I can ride all throughout the winter, morning and night. It's a bit cold, but nothing too bad. Obviously, some places around the world this just isn't possible. Places where you simply can't even take your motorcycle out of the garage for the entirety of winter. I feel for you, I'm sorry. But the point that I'm trying to make is we need to break this mold that a motorcycle is only a luxury item. A motorcycle can be a tool for work, it can be a tool for travel, and it can be the main source of transport for you. I want to talk quickly about the bikes that are currently in Harley's lineup that I think could be better marketed towards younger generations. The two families of bikes I'm talking about in particular are the Harley Sportster, of course, and the Street series as well, so the Street 500 and the Street 750. So picking up a bike like this secondhand is more affordable than ever, and I think this is a bike that is very approachable for young and new riders and is the perfect first bike. From the outside looking in America, the Street series doesn't make much sense. The Sportster seems like a far better choice for a starting bike. So the Sportster is a bike that is comfortable and easy to get onto. The power delivery is easy to get used to and easy to manage, but also can be opened up. So when you get more comfortable, you can utilize more of its power. The Street series really seems to be a bike that is marketed towards countries like Australia, where our licensing laws are a little bit more strict. So in Australia, we have two licenses. You have like an entry-level motorcycle license and an open motorcycle license. And depending on which state you're in, there are different requirements as to how long you have to have that first stage of your motorcycle license. Here in Western Australia, it's 1 year on that license, followed by a second test until you can ride whatever bike you like. In other states such as Victoria, you're actually on that first license, that entry-level license, for 3 years. 3 years of being on this restricted license. Now, all Harley Davidsons, apart from the Street 500 and the Street 750, are restricted to that open license. This is insane. This is absolutely crazy. That means that most Australian riders won't get a Harley Davidson for their first bike. So I really think that Harley needs to do more with that Street 500 and Street 750 bike. Those bikes are obviously a good bike to start on for beginners. But the problem is that they're really boring and ugly to look at. They're not exciting at all. Why they didn't just make a Sportster with a smaller engine like that in it, I'm not too sure. But these bikes look odd. And the market that you're competing with are bikes such as, the cafe racers like the Ducati Scrambler and all of the Yamaha bikes as well, the XSR 700 and the MT-07. These bikes are really appealing to young beginner riders. So Harley really needs to tackle that beginner market, I think, with a bike that is fun to ride and looks good and captures the essence of what Harley Davidson truly means. Okay, so let's jump back on the bike. I want to put a few more miles in. I've been on the bike for about 5 hours now already today. It's been great. I kind of just want to keep riding. What we'll talk about next when we stop are the 2020 bikes that have been announced and what I think about them. So let's saddle up and let's get back on the road. So, I'm down here at this beautiful lake behind me. I don't know where I am. Sorry, I can't tell you. I kind of just followed some great roads and it led me here. And I think that really sums up what I've been talking about today, kind of what it is to own a Harley Davidson, and that is to get out and explore and to adventure. I really want to see Harley Davidson get back to this lifestyle and to this culture that their brand is renowned for going into 2020 and beyond. But before we end this video, let's quickly talk about two of the main bikes that are scheduled for this 2020 lineup. So first off, the Pan America. So this is Harley Davidson's first shot at the adventure motorcycle market. I'm really excited for this bike. I think it actually looks really cool. A lot of people slated it for looking real ugly, but let's face it, all adventure bikes look ugly. In fact, they're the most unattractive bike on the market. I mean, look, the GS and the KTMs, they're awesome bikes, but wow, they look terrible. There's no hiding that massive fuel tank and that really ugly front end. But I do think Harley Davidson's prototype photos looked really good. So I'm excited to see that launch. I'm definitely going to go test ride it. That new liquid cooled engine I think is going to be really fun. I really hope it performs well, and I hope to see that engine throughout more of the lineup in the future. An adventure bike is definitely something I've always considered as the second bike in my stable. Not that I could ever afford that, but if I ever could, an adventure bike would be it. And I hope to one day have an adventure bike to go travel around some parts of Australia that I just can't reach on my Harley Davidson now. So again, I'm just excited for this bike, and I'm glad to see Harley Davidson trying something new. Speaking of new, the news surrounding Harley Davidson at the moment is of course inundated with the Livewire, Harley Davidson's new electric motorcycle. I'm really excited to see this bike. Yeah, the price is expensive, but you know, Harley Davidson aren't planning to sell a lot of these bikes. This is just them saying, hey, here's what we can do. And I think that's a really awesome move from them. I'm excited to see how well this bike actually performs. All the reviews that have come out so far are nothing but praise for this motorcycle. In fact, I've never seen such praise across the board from about any product really, not just motorcycles. The power apparently is incredible. The handling, the suspension, the brakes, the fit, the finish. I mean, the list goes on. It's been nothing but praise for this bike. So I'm really excited to see this bike in person. I really want to get my leg over it and take it for a ride. I think it's going to be so much fun. In terms of the rest of the lineup, I don't think we'll see much apart from those two bikes, and that's fine. I think the Softail lineup is really great. I think there's a good selection there. I think the touring lineup is definitely going to need a revamp in terms of style, fit and finish. It just looks a bit dated. You know, the bikes have been looking the same for a while now, and I think that's going to start becoming really hard to sell as a new bike. But again, what I really want to see the most from Harley Davidson in 2020 and going forward is really how they portray the brand, how they sell the brand to consumers and to the young generation. I want them to get back to their roots of being synonymous with adventure and with exploration. I think that's really what Harley Davidson stands for. I think that's why they've been so successful as a company, and I don't want to see them lose it. Showcasing people riding bikes as bar hoppers and getting around and just looking cool isn't enough. This is not what motorcycles are about, and the young people know it. Young people don't really care about looking cool. I mean, we've all seen hipster fashion. It ain't good. So really what it's about is the experience, the exploration and the adventure. I think there's no better way to have those things than on the back of a motorcycle, on the back of a Harley Davidson motorcycle. So really for 2020 and the future, that's what I'm looking for from Harley Davidson, and that's what I hope. But those are my thoughts. I'd love to hear yours. Leave them in the comments below. What do you want from Harley Davidson going into 2020 and beyond? Let me know about the bikes you want to see and also what you think about the company as a whole. I'd really like to hear your opinions. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you haven't already, hit subscribe. It's really appreciated. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to jump back on the bike now and go explore some more awesome roads, take some photos here, and enjoy the sunshine now that it's finally come out. But hey, stay safe, have fun, and I'll catch you on the next one. All right, peace.